And just like that, it's Wednesday again.
It's Wednesdays.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Wednesdays with Woody, where we interrupt your basic Wednesday to bring you this hot-ass mess of a show. We will be discussing everything trending and topical. If you haven't guessed it yet, my loves, my name is Woody Woods, and your boy this week is trying to practice all levels of self-care. And let me just tell you, it's already been a wild roller coaster of a week. I'm completely exhausted. I mean, so much has taken place over the last week. Just to give you some highlights. On Monday was International Mandela Day, where, for those of you who don't know, but I feel as though we should all know, we take 67 minutes of our time during the day, especially here in South Africa, just to give back to communities around the country. That day took it out of me, because there was so much going on that day from a work perspective that I was involved in. There was also this past week where, guess what? We have another Kardashian baby on the way. Khloe Kardashian is expecting her second child with Tristan. With Tristan any day now through surrogacy, which was really shook us, given the last couple of weeks of what we have been seeing through the media when it pertains to these two and their relationship. More so the way that the first season of the Kardashians had ended on Hulu. Something else. Oh, I'm not even going to get into Ted Cruz's comments in America around LGBTQIA plus marriages or same-sex marriages, really. I'm not going to get into that, not yet. But there's obviously a direction that we're going in, which, well, is quite scary to think about and consider. Just for the American LGBTQIA plus community over there. So yeah, there has been quite a lot of news happening this past week, and it's been not all sunshine and roses. Some of it has been quite heartbreaking. This week, I'm thinking about a particular quote from Brene Brown, which goes along the lines of, "Don't walk through the world looking for evidence that you don't belong, because you will always find it. Don't walk through the world looking for evidence that you're not enough, because you will always find it. Our worth and our belonging are not negotiated with other people. We carry those inside of our hearts." And yeah, this quote really took me some time just to muse over and to really think about in the context of the journeys that we make through existence, and the many situations that we find ourselves in that compromise who we are and our self-worth, not in the context of other people, but in the context of ourselves. And how that's such a dangerous place to exist and live in. A lot of the times it takes people many years to stop looking for these things. Stop looking for places where they belong. Stop looking for people who validate their existence. Just to stop looking just generally for anything that exists outside of yourself that doesn't resonate with you. And that quote it's really just been permeating in the corridors of my mind. I'm in no way, shape or form saying that I have it completely down to a T, and I am I don't know, some person who's got it all figured out. Absolutely not. I've learned that in life there are specific things that resonate with us for a season and then we forget them, only to recall them in later years when it's like, oh my gosh, I wish I'd continued with that practice, or I'd wish I'd continued living in a specific way. But how else can we grow and create different versions of ourselves to exist in this world? Because I think that you always have to do that. But this quote has really hit home because very recently, I've been feeling there's a lot of negotiating I've been doing with other people around my own self-worth, which for a very long time had me reflecting on myself, and whether this was actually appropriate. Obviously, it's absolutely not appropriate at all to negotiate who you are with other people, because you really do open yourself up for a lot of critique and a lot of what I like to call playing in your mental states, which isn't really necessary. We should never be putting ourselves in positions to negotiate any aspect of ourselves with other people. This is who I am, and I come as I am, especially if it's a compromise to yourself. One of my close friends used to, I'm sure she still does, has a saying where she's like, you swallow yourself, and a lot of people do this and they don't know that they do this, but they swallow themselves. You swallow yourself in relationships, you swallow yourself in work, you swallow yourself in the parameters of your romantic relationships. You spend a lot of time negating and orphaning off these aspects of yourself, which is a great compromise to yourself. Another quote that is coming to mind is that there is no greater romance that you will have in this life other than the one that you have with yourself. And obviously I am heavily paraphrasing. But this quote reminds me of the importance of being true to oneself, the importance of staying firm in one's beliefs. And I'm not saying be stubborn about things, I'm saying stay firm in your beliefs. But obviously if there's contradictory data, please open yourself up to a different type of negotiation, or realization with yourself around these things. But yeah, we spend a lot of time just not having these great romances that we search for in our lives because, well, we're not the stars of our own show. Someone else's. We've taken someone else and we've put them as the centerpiece of it all, which then forces us or puts us in this quite compromising situation where all of a sudden you are just unhappy, you have swallowed yourself, you have done a negotiation around your self-worth, around your beliefs, around these many different aspects of your life, and you just end up completely unhappy, which quite frankly it's really not even worth it, because as I've been hearing recurringly over the last couple of weeks is that we're not here for a long time. It's actually quite short, the amount of time that we have on this planet. And how do you want to spend that? Do you want to spend that completely and all-consumingly appeasing other people? Or is there something that you want for yourself? Something that you want to create for yourself? Something that you can hold on to and just be like, this is all mine. All of this is mine. And please, not another individual. I mean, that is the most toxic thing. The ownership of other people in relationships. Toxic. But something that you have brought forth into this world, that you have created, that's yours. And maybe that's just me because I'm all about owning one's narrative, all about creating different versions of oneself as we travel through life. I'm not a fan of the permanence of it all. I believe that nature continuously teaches us to redefine ourselves and find new ways of living. And by nature, I'm talking about nature, like the trees and the birds, all of that stuff, and how it has survived over millennia, simply due to adapting to the changing circumstances around it. Maybe changing is not the right word. Maybe I'm looking for adapting. Whatever the case might be. However you want to take it, I'm just a fan of recreating who you are continuously. Just so as not to get bored with yourself. I mean, I don't know. I used to I used to joke with my friends that right now, I'm in a same-sex relationship. Who knows what 10 or 15 years from now might look like. I might decide, oh, you know what, no, not for me. I want to be a hetero, or and I can just hear in the background how there are many conversations going on around like, it's just a phase. No, it's not just a phase. Some people are fluid with their sexuality. It's not a permanent thing. But obviously, I don't think that's the case with me. I'm very happy where I am, and I don't think I'm going to change it anytime soon. But there are many people who, who marry straight, and then later on, in later years of their lives, then realize that absolutely, no, this is not for me. I have completely denied everything about myself. I am either unhappy or my marriage is failing, whatever the case might be. And they want to live as authentically as possible. And then they choose a different version of themselves to become something that resembles whatever experiences they are seeking to fulfill as they journey through this dream we call life. Oh, I love that. This dream we call life. And they should be entitled to do that, whether it is your sexuality or your job or whatever the case might be. We just need to stop negotiating with other people how to exist in this world, how to be in this world. Take up space. Take up space, make a noise, announce yourself, or don't do any of that. Or just exist for yourself completely and full-heartedly. I feel like that is the only way for true internalized happiness. Not at the expense or at the altar of other people's opinions. That's not worth it. That's still something I'm trying to learn. I'm really trying to learn. I'm very accommodating of other people. I mean, you could be the worst human being on this planet. I don't know how many opportunities I will give you to show me a different version of yourself, before I'm eventually at the point of, I need to step away from this toxicity. It's getting wild out here. But yeah, that quote has really opened up a can of worms in me. Wow. I think that's it, yo. I think that's it for this week. I've got nothing more in me. I'm actually quite shocked. This might be the shortest podcast I've ever recorded. Who knows? We'll see when we string it all together. But thank you. Thank you once again for joining me this week. Thank you once again for lending me your ears and your time to listening to the ramblings of a madman. That be me. And I hope to hear you guys next week. Who knows what we'll be discussing? I don't know. Maybe something with a little bit more. Actually, no. Let's stop with the meaty subjects, But yeah, I hope you got something out of this. And till next week. Till next Wednesday. Until then, adios.